Matt V's Movies back for another video, and today we're going to be looking at the Blade Trilogy, the DVD collection and the 4K Steelbook that came out. I believe it was a Zavvi exclusive. Okay, so just a little bit of background information on each film, and we'll look at each film individually. We start with Blade. This came out in 1998 and it was rated a 18 certificate, and it's an action horror genre. The runtime for this was 2 hours. Just a brief summary of the film. Blade, who is part vampire and part mortal, becomes a vampire hunter to protect human beings. He prevents vampires from taking control over the human race. The UK release date for this film was the 13th of November 1998, and it was directed by Stephen Norrington. Music was by Mark Isham, and the box office for this was $131.2 million. This was written by David S. Goyer, and he was involved in the Dark Knight trilogy, writing for Christopher Nolan. Cast included Wesley Snipes as Blade, Chris Christopherson as Abraham Whistler, Stephen Dorff, Deacon Frost, Sana Lathan as Vanessa, Donald Loki, Quinn, Tracy Lords, Raquel. Okay, so we'll just have a quick look at the DVD edition here. On the back, you basically got the the 3 films in the series, Blade, Blade 2 and Blade Trinity, and then we've got the films in here. So we'll look at Blade to start with, and then we'll look at the DVD first, and then we'll look at the 4K Steelbook. Okay, so this was kind of a Marvel property film, and this was really actually the first Marvel film that we ever got before all the MCU started. So this really set the comic book film rolling back in the 90s. And we got a single disc there, chapter listings. This came with some special features, and so yeah. So this was a fantastic film. Really enjoyed this. And Wesley Snipes was perfectly cast as the character Blade. So yeah, I've not watched this DVD for years, but yeah, let's look at that. So on to the Steelbook, special edition that we got from Zavvi. Comes in a really nice slip case with the main character on the front there. And there's the spine, and then just on the back, there are worse things out tonight than vampires. The top and the bottom. And then we'll take this out. Now this is fairly sturdy, not too bad. So yeah, nice nice slipcase. And then here's the Steelbook, really nice design here. Again, Blade on the front. There's the spine and the back. Another nice image. Top artwork does go across the top and across the bottom. Open it up and we get the 4K disc. No artwork on the disc, unfortunately. And the Blu-ray, again, no artwork on there. Do get some art cards. And we get some nice internal art. And we get some art cards with this release. Nice one of Blade on his bike. The back of these are just branded. One with the two fighting off at the end of the film. And the one where I think that's when he's in the nightclub at the start of the film. There's also a poster here, and I'll put an image up of what it looks like. So that's just a bit of a closer look at the 4K Blu-ray Steelbook that we got. I haven't actually watched the transfer yet on 4K, so I can't actually sort of comment on what it looks like, but yeah, I need to get round to doing that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It was a very good, probably the best of the three, to be honest. You know, Wesley Snipes is great in the lead role, and there's a lot of action, and yeah, it's just a really good film. So on to Blade 2, the sequel. And this came out in 2002, and again rated an 18, action horror genre, and it ran for 1 hour and 57 minutes. A brief description of the film. Blade, a human-vampire hybrid, is forced to ally with his arch-enemies to take down the Reapers, a race of mutated vampires with plans of world domination. The UK release date for this film was the 29th of March 2002, and this time director Guillermo del Toro. Music was by Mark Beltrami, and the box office was $155 million US. Wesley Snipes returned as Blade, Norman Reedus as Scud, Lenore Valera as Nisaya, Luke Goss as Gerard Nomak, Chris Christopherson returned as Abraham Whistler, and Ron Perlman as Reinhardt. It also starred Donnie Yen as Snowman. Okay, so I've only got the DVD version of this film. I don't have the film on Blu-ray, and I don't think there's a 4K yet for this. It'd be very nice if a similar kind of release to the Blade release with the Steelbook and the slipcase with some art cards would be nice for this film. This was a very good sequel, in my opinion. On the back, this one, there's 2-disc edition, this one. And yeah, we had Luke Goss. I think it was one of his early sort of cinematic roles. I know he turned from obviously music Bros back in the sort of 80s or 90s, I can't quite remember now. And yeah, he was very good in the role as the sort of the evil guy or a vampire or whatever he was. So yeah, I quite enjoyed it. I haven't seen this film for quite a few years actually, so yeah, maybe I really need to revisit all of these. So yeah, I mean, the second disc is packed with some special features, which is nice to see, and it got a DTS ES mix, so that was pretty good at the time when it came out. So yeah, I'm sure if they was to bring it out on 4K, we'd get probably a Dolby Atmos on that one as well. Ooh. So that's disc 2. Disc 1, no artwork on here, and again on this release it's just like a chapter listings. And that guy there, that's Luke Goss in his makeup. Can't really recognise him, only by his voice really in the film. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. This was a really good sequel. So that's Blade 2. And the final film in this trilogy was Blade Trinity. Now this one was a 15 certificate, so not quite as bloodthirsty as the first two. Came out in 2004 and it ran for 2 hours and 3 minutes. Just a brief description of the film. Blade fights a lone battle with the vampires and joins hands with Night Stalkers, who are vampire hunters. His task becomes difficult when an invisible opponent, Dracula, challenges him. Now, the US release date for this film was the 8th of December 2004, and this time David S. Goyer directed. Now, obviously, he was a writer on the first film. And it starred Wesley Snipes returning as Blade, Chris Christopherson as Abraham Whistler, Jessica Biel as Abigail Whistler, Ryan Reynolds as Hannibal King, Parker Posey as Danica Talos, Dominic Purcell as Count Dracula, and Triple H from the wrestling world as Jarko Grimwood. So again, I've only got this one on DVD, and this was a very early role for Ryan Reynolds before he kind of really started, his career started to take off. Not the best film, really. It was okay, it was enjoyable to watch, but out of the three, it's definitely the weakest. And they kind of got this trio going. Obviously Jessica Biel with Ryan Reynolds as backup to Blade. Now, this was the extended version that we got. There was a theatrical cut at the time. But I think I actually, if memory serves me, I actually swapped out I think the box set came with the standard cut, and I actually managed to pick this one up and swapped it out at the time, so can't quite remember, it's many years ago now, but yeah, again, another 2-disc special edition, again packed with special features here. It's nice to see them putting some effort into these releases. Lots of stuff in here, and again the disc 2 for the special features and disc 1 for the film. And again, just a little booklet. This one's a little bit thicker. Chapter selections. I think this is just a lot of adverts for other films, to be honest. It is, yeah. White Noise, that was quite a good film. But yeah, it's an advertising pamphlet. So yeah, that was Blade Trinity. Like I say, definitely the weakest entry in the franchise, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. So guys, let's just look at my Blade collection that I have. I think there was a TV series as well. It didn't star Wesley Snipes, but I don't think it was long lived. Yeah, I never really saw that. I think I saw the pilot episode at some point, but I can't really remember a lot about it. But I think there is talk of like a reboot of doing Blade. Personally, I don't really feel it's needed. I think Wesley Snipes, played the part so well. I know he's a Marvel character, so I don't know whether they would try and introduce him into the MCU, but personally I feel the character kind of sits really in its own universe. It's a sort of the horror genre, and I don't know whether Marvel would sort of venture into sort of including that in the MCU. I don't know, I doubt it, but I'm no expert in these things, but no, I mean, like I say, I thoroughly enjoyed all three films. The first two definitely the best of the bunch. The third one, yeah, it was kind of losing its way a little bit, maybe sort of introducing too many characters into it. I mean, it worked really well with just Blade on his own, tackling the you know, the vampires and in the films. So yeah, but hope you enjoyed this sort of closer look at what I've got. Take care and see you in the next one. Bye now.